How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the 1894 for a very, very special video. Now, as I'm sure you're all aware, Sergio Aguero has played his final game in the Etihad Stadium, and we wanted to say thank you and goodbye the best way we know how. So we've gathered some friends of the channel, some really, really cool people to come on and share their memories of goals, massive moments, and just their thoughts on Aguero leaving the club. He's one of the greatest club legends of all time. So let's go over and see what they have to say.
What does Sergio Aguero mean to you as a City fan?
Aguero means absolutely everything to me as a Manchester City fan. He ended that pain. He ended years and years of torment. He gave me the greatest moment I will ever have as a football fan. It will never get better than that 93-20 moment. Everything about Sergio Aguero is love for me when it comes to football. He genuinely really is a superstar, and he was our superstar. And that's the best thing about Sergio Aguero for me. We watched him become who he was at Manchester City. Yes, he was a fantastic footballer at Atletico Madrid already, but he became a superstar, a genuine superstar, and a genuine all-time Premier League legend at Manchester City. He is happiness for me. He is the good place for me. Aguero, I absolutely love him. Thank you so much. Everything you've done, Sergio. Thank you.
He's a superstar. He's a superstar. He's one of the first superstars that we really had. Obviously, we had Tevez and stuff, but I think Sergio Aguero is just a league above. And yeah, obviously it was a special moment. You know, we got him for a good price. He comes in, hit the ground running with his 2 goals against Swansea. Looked really, really sharp. Got an assist in that game as well, I think. Yeah, and then obviously just gone on to do incredible things, more than anyone really could have ever imagined. And to be honest, if it wasn't for his injury record, he probably would have challenged Shearer, I think, for like top goal scorer ever in the country. So he's a quality player, a brilliant player to watch. So good on the ball. His finishing is insane. Left foot, right foot, in the air as well. He was underrated. His heading ability was very good. I remember the leap against Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final. Brilliant leap and great header. Played with aggression, speed, quick off the line. It was just a brilliant player, and to me, I think that we'll never really see a player like him again in the Premier League, because he's such a unique type of player. I mean, you get the Harry Kanes, you know, the physical big guy who bullies everyone, but the rare player like Aguero, the small guy who doesn't bully people in terms of physicality, but in terms of sheer speed and quality and class. Yeah, just something that I think we'll never really be able to... We'll be able to replace his goals, for sure. I think we'll be able to replace his goals, but that little bit of sparkle that he provides, I don't think we'll ever replace that. And to me, that's it's kind of sad knowing that we'll never replace that.
What does Sergio Aguero mean to me? Well, he's the greatest striker I've ever seen play for the club. I've seen some great ones. Trevor Francis in one amazing season. Nicolas Anelka, I thought, was ahead of his time. Carlos Tevez, another great striker to play for the club. Back in the late 60s, early 70s, when I first started to go and watch the Blues, obviously Francis Lee. You might argue these days that Mike Summerbury, even Colin Bell might be regarded as a striker, but Sergio is the best of the lot. An absolute eye for goal, and a player that I've really enjoyed watching play the game. He's humble, he's not arrogant. I've met him, and he did a piece for my son when it was his birthday, and he's a very modest, likeable guy. Everything that I think stands for a great City striker. That's what he means to me.
Sergio Aguero means everything to me as a City fan. He's given us a lot of memories, a lot of goals, a lot of crucial goals that have got us where we are, and it's been a pleasure being able to watch one of the greatest strikers I've ever seen in my life play for my club for so long. Obviously, everyone was branding him and other players mercenaries. They'll only be here for a year or two, but he stuck it out for a decade, and all the trophies that he's won, they only speak to how good he was, really.
I think I don't just speak for myself when I say that Aguero means the absolute world to us as Man City fans. He came in, hit the ground running, and he has not stopped since. Some of the goals he scored, some of the angles he scored from, some of the match winners that he scored, he's just been unreal. And I am so grateful that he chose Man City. I am so grateful that he stayed as long as he has. And I am absolutely gutted that he is leaving.
I think it's obvious to any City fan. Sergio Aguero means literally everything to us. An absolute club legend, an idol to all Premier League fans growing up, not just City fans. I think he's an idol to everyone. Some of the records he's broken, the amount of goals he scored is just phenomenal. So yeah, everything really. Other than, I mean, him, Joe Hart and David Silva, 3 idols growing up. You probably see a Aguero shirt behind me and also a Silva shirt. So yeah, definitely a lot.
He means everything to me. He's Manchester City's all-time top goal scorer. He scored the famous goal which won Manchester City their first Premier League as well. He's delivered so many fond memories. He's been here for just about 10 years as well at Manchester City. He's just a fantastic football player, represents everything that you associate with modern-day Manchester City, and that includes the work ethic, the dedication to the club, and also putting his all on the pitch and never giving up, and scoring some amazing goals out there for Manchester City. So yeah, he's going to be a huge loss for Manchester City. It means the absolute world to me.
What is your favourite memory other than 93-20?
My favourite Sergio Aguero moment. There's a few that spring to mind. Bayern Munich at home. I think he scored a hat-trick in that game. I think we were 2-0 down actually. Could be wrong on that one though. That was a special moment. I remember him getting the, getting a few goals there. That was really good. I think as well in that game, it sort of proved to everyone that he could do it on the European stage. The goal against United, where it was the year that we weren't winning the league, and we went there, we won 2-1.
He kind of ran round all the defence, put Phil Jones in his arse and put it in the top corner. If not, though, maybe the goal against Liverpool in the 2-1 victory at the Etihad in that incredible race towards the title. That goal was absolutely massive, and I remember the roar in the stadium that day at the Etihad. It was cathartic, genuinely cathartic, and only the kind of finish that Sergio Aguero would make. No one else would take that on the right foot, then wallop it with their weaker foot from that ridiculous angle against one of the best goalkeepers in the world and put it in the roof of the net. It was pure instinct and pure Sergio Aguero.
The goals that he scored on my birthday, actually, we beat Leicester 5-1 on the 10th of February, I think it was 2017, and that was my birthday. He scored 4 goals on that day, and the season after, we played against Chelsea and we won 6-0, and he scored a hat-trick. And the most memorable goal, apart from 93-20, I would say, was that goal against Liverpool, where he put it over Reina.
He was like at the corner flag. Weird angle, mate. I don't know how he scored it.
Now, this is actually quite a recent one, because in January last year, one of last few kind of away games you could go to actually, but Aston Villa away, scored a hat-trick, broke the record of Alan Shearer's 11 hat-tricks in the Premier League. Sergio got 12, which is just insane, really. And he also became the top foreign goal scorer in the Premier League on that day. So yeah, absolutely insane moment, really. I know it's fairly recent, but especially being at the game myself, I'll put some clips into that as well. It just meant a lot more because you were there, more of a memory, and obviously record broken.
It's hard to pick one out because he's been such an instrumental player in so many key moments, but if I had to pick one, it perhaps would be his goal at Burnley in that very tight season where City were nip and tuck against Liverpool, when he scored a goal, when he squeezed the ball over the line, because it was only just over the line as we went into that run-in. And if ever was a player you could rely on to produce something special when it was needed, it was that moment. A great moment by Sergio Aguero, which probably typifies what makes him special.
The one that I've decided to go for is the record-breaking goal when he became City's top scorer, overtaking Eric Brooks. It was the Napoli goal in the Champions League group stage.
It was such a cool, calm, collective finish into the bottom corner.
I think he went 3 games before it without scoring.
He was ecstatic to become Manchester City's all-time top goal scorer, and it's wrote him into the history books as well.
Where were you and what do you remember from 93-20?
This is one of my biggest regrets as a Manchester City fan. I gave up my season ticket the year before this happened.
I was at the stadium. I used to sit in 2-3-2, up in the corner under the scoreboard.
I was in the Colin Bell stand for the 93-20 goal.
At the time, I was a very skint, very poor musician, signed to a record deal and all that kind of stuff, and I couldn't really afford to go every single week. So I couldn't get tickets for the 93-20 day. I couldn't get them. But you know what? I sat at home and watched it with my dad and family, and it was wonderful. I know I wasn't there that day, and I hate it. I hate it because I could have been, because I gave it away. But I had no choice because I was skint.
When we got to the stadium, obviously it did start quite well. Zabaleta scored the first goal and I thought, okay, we might do it. And then typical City kicked in and I was like, oh no, we're going to battle this. And yeah, and then Dzeko scored the header. That's probably one of the only goals that I haven't celebrated. I thought it was too late. My dad was with me and he said, it's never too late. There's always time. And I was thinking no, because I couldn't see what time was left of the extra minutes. I was like, no, it's too little, too late.
And then Sergio pops up with a finish, and it was the quality strike, the pressure that it would have been under. And I think he displayed something during the shot. If you take the moment away, during the shot, that a lot of other strikers couldn't really do. And it's take the moment out of it. I'm in that position. We've got to score, otherwise we're not winning the league. So let me hit the target, hit it with a bit of pace. You know, the actual shot, if you think about it, wasn't the best. He goes near post. You know, if you're thinking about a shot, you probably want him to go across the goal. But then you risk, is it going to get on target, etc., etc. In that moment, he thought to himself, I just got to hit the target here. And that's what he did. He hit the target with some power, beat the goalkeeper. And the rest of the say is history. You know what I mean? It was a fantastic occasion. You know, people crying everywhere. People got on the pitch. We got on the pitch. It was absolutely insane. A moment I'll never ever forget.
I was commentating for the BBC, best job in the world. And when that ball went into the back of the net, Nigel Gleghorn, who was summarising for me, leapt up into the air. All the kit went flying on the floor, and we went off air. So while he was scoring that amazing goal, which made everybody orgasmic, I was on my hands and knees picking up the bits of all the kit, putting it back together again and just praying that I could get back on air. We're off air for 45 seconds and I managed to get us back on air before the celebration had finished and carried on as if nothing had happened. Well, not nothing had happened, but as if nothing untoward had happened with our kit. Obviously a moment I'll never forget, and I was lucky enough to be able to interview Sergio on the pitch after the 2014 victory, and got a great picture with him wearing his Daft Jester's hat, and that's a moment I'll always treasure. So, but 93-20, that's what I was doing. I was commentating. I was in full flow when Nigel Gleghorn took us off the air. But what a moment! Never to be forgotten.
Unfortunately, I wasn't at the ground for that moment. I'd love to have been there and soaked everything up with the stadium atmosphere. Unfortunately, I wasn't. I was at home instead. I was enjoying watching the game and watching Manchester City become Premier League champions. I think me, along with a lot of other Manchester City fans, were feeling the frustrations of that day, thinking it's not going to be, feeling the despair as well. When all hope is gone, and then it all comes back, just speechless, absolutely delighted, ecstatic, that it just sent me into a moment of shock that I didn't really have anything else to say, so I just lied down and just had a big smile on my face before going on to enjoy that memory.
For that famous goal, I was in my dad's house hanging around with a friend of mine at the time who was a United fan, so that made that moment all the more sweeter.
I was wishing I was at the game, but I was a 9-year-old at home, just begging for City's first title, really. Just sat there in front of the TV, hands and knees, hoping for a win, really, and not really thinking about anything else other than the game, just glued to the screen.
It was just such a perfect goal, you know, from the commentary to the fact he was fouled beforehand. And I don't think I've ever been happier than when that goal went in. And it was an amazing day. But obviously it was stark contrast to about 3 minutes beforehand when it was all doom and gloom before Dzeko had scored. We were getting frustrated, you know, everything was going the other way, QPR getting throw-ins. It was just, all hope was lost, but then that happened and it's without a doubt the best moment of my life.
I did just go home after the game. I didn't celebrate around town, but yeah, that was the best day of my life, and I don't think anything can ever top that.
And my memory of that day is nothing but sheer joyous glee, and I don't regret being with my dad that day, sat in the front room watching it, because it was a special moment for me, a special moment still nonetheless.
The best moment, and it will always be, as far as I'm concerned, the best moment in Manchester City's entire existence.
If you could say one thing to Sergio before he leaves, what would it be?
If I could say one thing to Sergio Aguero as he leaves these shores and goes back to Argentina or Barcelona, or whatever he's going to do, I would just say one thing to him. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, mate.
Thanks, mate, for everything that you've done for my football club.
Thank you so much for everything that you've done.
That's all I can say, really. Thank you.
I don't know if he drinks in it. If he fancies a pint, then we'll go for a pint.
Thank you for the legacy at the club. Thank you for winning our first title single-handedly, pretty much.
Thank you for the goals, the memorable moments.
We will be forever grateful to you. I wish you success in the future, and I hope you carry on playing for many, many more years.
Best of luck, and I mean every single word when I say this, that I wish him all the best. It's a massive shame that he's leaving Manchester City, but wherever he does choose to go, I wish him nothing but the best. He's delivered nothing but the best for Manchester City, and I'm wishing him all the best wherever he does go. And maybe we might see Aguero back at the Etihad Stadium again in a competitive game if he does go to another European club, and we end up seeing him in the Champions League. And I think he would deserve a massive standing ovation and a huge reception when he does return back to the Etihad Stadium, if that does happen, and I hope that it does.
And there's that classic newspaper headline that everyone goes on about, saying, I won't leave City until we win the Champions League, and everyone mocks it because obviously we've never won it. But how good would that be in his last game for the club to win the Champions League? Just imagine the scenes.
Thank you for all the goals. Thank you for the beautiful football. Thank you for making me believe things that I never thought were possible as a Manchester City fan. Thank you for being special. Thank you for choosing Manchester City for 10 glorious seasons.
There's no doubt in my mind that during his 10 years at City, there would have been, opportunities for him to go elsewhere, to Real Madrid, to Barcelona, to Bayern Munich, probably to somewhere else in England, and he didn't. He stayed. He doesn't. He's not one of these that go round kissing the badge every 5 minutes. But I think he can tell from the way he plays and the respect that he gives the football match and the opponents and the shirt. I think you can tell that he does love the club and he respects the club.
Thank you for every single thing that you've done over the years, the variety of the goals, your commitment to Manchester as well, not just Manchester City, but the fact that you loved it here, the fact that you've grown here as an individual. Thank you for trusting this club. Thank you for staying here and never causing any trouble. Thank you for being ours.
Every City fan feels the same way. They all love you.
Sergio, I love you, man. I love you. Thank you so, so much.